John Dewey. John Dewey is the most distinguished American thinker who is at once a philosopher and educator. He was born in October 1859 at Burlington and graduated from the University of Vermont in 1874. John Dewey, after graduating from the university, started his career as a school teacher. He left the job and joined Johns Hopkins University and obtained his doctorate degree in philosophy. John Dewey studied Huxley and Hegel and their thoughts and made his own educational philosophy. In 1884, he began teaching at the University of Michigan. In 1894, he moved to University of Chicago as head of its newly created Department of Philosophy, Psychology and Pedagogy. Before he died in 1952, he was a professor of education and philosophy at the University of Columbia, New York. John Dewey's philosophy has been variously referred to as pragmatism, experimentalism, functionalism, instrumentalism, operationalism, practicalism, and progressivism. John Dewey's famous books are The School and Society. He wrote this book in the year 1899. Next, The Child and the Curriculum in the year 1902. Third, How We Think, 1910. Interest and Effort in Education, 1913. Democracy and Education, 1916. Experience and Education, The Quest for Certainty, a study of relation of knowledge and action in the year 1929. Now, the most important thing is that he established laboratory school in year 1896 in Chicago. The laboratory school was a great contribution of John Dewey. John Dewey's educational thought. First, thinking, experiencing and education. Dewey's educational prescriptions are based on his view on how we think. Dewey holds that thinking does not occur in isolation from the social situation without experience or action. Thinking arises when the individual confronts a problem. According to Dewey, thinking is a method. It is a method of intelligence experiencing. It is connected with the increase of efficiency in action and with learning more about ourselves and the world in which we live. Second, education is life. According to Herbert Spencer, the aim of education is to prepare us for complete living. But Dewey, being a pragmatist, goes further and says that education is life itself and not a preparation for life. Third, school is a miniature society. Dewey regards education as an institution essential to social life. To him, school is an absolute social necessity. The school is not a place where some knowledge is imparted and an attempt is made to develop certain habits among children. It is a place where the child learns by its own experience. Criticizing the prevailing practice, he said, the school, now divorced from life, must be reunited with it through activities that will simplify its relation, develop its essential meaning, eliminate its unworthy and unuseful features, and extend the individual's social environment so that he escapes from the limitation of group into which he is born. In fact, the school is a miniature society. Dewey defines education as the development of all those capacities in the individual which will enable him to control his environment and fulfill his possibilities. It is a process which has two sides, one psychological and other sociological. Next, education is the process of reconstruction of experience. Dewey says, education is the experience of an individual in social process. All education proceeds by the participation of individual in the social consciousness of the race, and therefore the aim of education should be create an atmosphere by active participation in which the child may take part in the social consciousness of the race. Next, the individual and social factors in education. Dewey speaks of two fundamental factors in educational process, the individual and social, neither of which can be subordinated or neglected. He regards the child as the core of the whole educational process. Education must begin with a psychological insight into the child's capacity, interest, and habits. Now, moving to aim of education according to Dewey. Dewey defines education not as a preparation for the life, but as life itself, here and now. Here, there cannot therefore be a distant ultimate into education. In his Democracy and Education, he writes, "It has all the time and immediate end, and so far as activity is educative, it reaches that end, the direct transformation of quality of experience." According to him, the aim of education is not to reach any prefixed final goal. It is the process itself. The process of education is a continuous process of adjustment, having as its aim at every stage an added capacity of growth. Now, natural development as an aim. Dewey approved of natural development as an aim, for it corrects many evils in current practice. It also leads to desirable specific aims like fixes attention upon the bodily organ and need of health and vigor, respect for physical mobility, regards for individual differences among the children, and notes the origin, waxing and waning of preferences and interests. Social efficiency as an aim. The school general aim in the Dewey's scheme of aim is the social efficiency. Dewey says that social efficiency is attained not by negative constraint but by the positive use of native individual capacities in occupation having a social meaning. Now, culture as an aim. The cultural aim indicates the cultivation of the mind of individual with respect of appreciation to ideas, art, and broad human interest. In conclusion, we may note that Dewey's look upon aim as a point of the view for serving the specific problem of education. Now, Dewey's conception of methods of teaching. Dewey's view on methods are in the line with his pragmatic philosophy. It should be based on the principle of learning by doing, activity, purpose, and connection with the life of the child. Professor Dewey has expounded the problem methods of teaching in his book How We Think and Interest and Effort in Education. Kilpatrick, one of the most famous of Dewey's followers, founded Project Method as a methods of teaching. Dewey's conception of the curriculum. Dewey's conception of the ideal curriculum is based on a few important principles. It should reflect the social life of the child and his social activity. It should be informed, flexible, changeable, and in accordance with the child interest and educative experiences. For example, the curriculum in the elementary school should be based on the fourfold interest of the child, that is, interest in conversation and communication, interest in inquiry, interest in making things and construction, and interest in artistic expression. Hence, the curriculum will include such subjects as reading, writing, counting, handwork, and drawing. Another principle which the curriculum must follow is that of progressive organization of knowledge consisting of educative experiences and problems. Besides laying down the general principles of the choice of the subject in the school, John Dewey has advised us to how to organize the curriculum. He suggests that it develops critical discrimination and the ability to reason. But this will be possible, Dewey says, if different subjects are taken from the material of day-to-day life and the subject matter of each subject link the present with the past, and they are taught in such a way that their usefulness in the immediate present is emphasized. Moreover, the difficult subject should be naturally correlated, and therefore they should not be presented as distinct studies but as a type of process by which society keeps itself going. Flexibility, reflection of social life, progressive organization of knowledge, and integration are the important principles of curriculum construction. Dewey's conception of discipline. Dewey believed in social discipline, which leads to character training. It must cultivate in pupils social attitude and social habits. Conclusion. Dewey abolished the distinction between means and ends and thus made the education an endless round. He underestimated the importance of idea. He, however, brought educational practice in the line with the activity of present-day life. For Dewey, there are no fixed beliefs, no fixed ideals, no spiritual values or eternal realities which do not change.